Rain hammered the glass walls of the Manhattan Grand Aurora Hotel, while billionaires laughed beneath crystal chandeliers. Outside, reporters screamed the name Kaesung Lee like he was royalty. Inside, he looked more like a man preparing for war. At 28, Kaesung controlled one of the most feared Korean syndicates in New York City. Wall Street investors called him a genius. Criminals whispered his name with fear. Politicians shook his hand during the day and prayed he never called them at night. Women chased him everywhere. Tonight alone, over 50 models and socialites had tried to catch his attention. He ignored every single one. Because across the ballroom, carrying a tray of champagne glasses with nervous hands, stood a waitress whose smile nearly stopped his heart. Naomi Clark. She wasn't supposed to belong in a room like this. Her black uniform was slightly wrinkled from rushing between tables. Tiny curls escaped from her ponytail because Manhattan humidity hated her. Her shoes looked cheap compared to the glittering designer heels surrounding her. But when an elderly janitor accidentally dropped a bucket near the entrance and people mocked him, Naomi knelt beside the old man without hesitation. Then she smiled. Not the fake smile rich people used. Not the seductive smile models practiced. A real smile. Warm. Human. Kaesung stared at her so intensely that Eric, his business partner, nearly choked on his whiskey. "You're looking at a waitress like she's a loaded gun," Eric muttered. Kaesung didn't answer. Because something strange had just happened. For the first time in months, the noise inside his head disappeared. No memories of blood. No thoughts about betrayal. No nightmares about his brother dying in his arms. Only her. Naomi felt someone watching her. When she looked up and met Kaesung's dark eyes across the ballroom, her stomach tightened instantly. Everyone in New York knew who he was. The handsome Korean heir with the scar above his eyebrow. The dangerous billionaire rumored to own half the city. The man connected to shootings, disappearances, and underground deals nobody could prove. Naomi immediately looked away. Men like him destroyed girls like her. She had learned that lesson years ago. Table 12 needs champagne, her manager snapped. Naomi grabbed another tray and forced herself to breathe. She worked 3 jobs. Morning shifts at a Brooklyn cafe. Night catering events. Acting auditions whenever she could. No distractions. No rich men. No criminals. Especially not one staring at her like he already owned her. But throughout the gala, Kaesung kept watching. When senators approached him, he barely listened. When models touched his arm, he moved away. When his father called from Seoul, Kaesung ignored the phone entirely. His father never got ignored. "That waitress," Kaesung finally said quietly. Eric sighed. "Absolutely not. What's her name? You know this never ends well." Kaesung's eyes stayed fixed on Naomi. "What's her name?" Eric rubbed his forehead. "Naomi Clark. 26. Acting student. Lives in Brooklyn with 2 roommates. Works too much. No criminal record. Her younger brother died in a gang shooting 6 years ago." Kaesung's expression changed slightly. "How do you know all that already? You asked me to investigate the second you saw her smile." Kaesung almost smirked. Then the ballroom exploded into chaos. A gunshot cracked through the music. Screams erupted. Guests ducked beneath tables. Naomi froze. 3 masked men stormed through the entrance holding rifles. Everyone panicked. Except Kaesung. His eyes immediately sharpened. "Stay behind me," he ordered Eric. 1 gunman aimed toward the stage. Another scanned the room. The 3rd spotted Kaesung and smiled. "Kaesung Lee." Naomi's blood ran cold. This wasn't random. The gunman fired. Kaesung moved instantly, flipping a table as bullets shattered crystal everywhere. People screamed and crawled across the floor. Naomi ducked behind the bar, shaking violently. Then she saw a little girl crying near the center of the ballroom. Alone, directly in the line of fire. Without thinking, Naomi sprinted toward her. "Are you insane?" someone screamed. Bullets tore through flower arrangements while Naomi grabbed the terrified child. A gunman noticed. He aimed directly at Naomi. Everything slowed. Then Kaesung appeared between them. The gunshot exploded. Pain flashed across Kaesung's shoulder. But he still slammed the attacker into a marble pillar hard enough to crack it. The remaining gunman ran. Within seconds, Kaesung's security team flooded the ballroom. Police sirens echoed outside. The nightmare ended. But Naomi couldn't stop staring at the blood soaking through Kaesung's white shirt. He had taken a bullet for her. For a waitress he didn't even know. Paramedics rushed toward him. Kaesung ignored them. Instead, He looked directly at Naomi. You saved the child first, he said quietly. Naomi swallowed hard. You got shot. His lips curved slightly. You're shaking. I'm fine. You're lying. Before she could respond, police officers surrounded Kaisung. Questions. Security concerns. Political panic. Naomi slipped away during the confusion. She needed distance. Because something about Kaisung terrified her. Not only because he was dangerous, but because part of her already wanted to see him again. The next morning at 5:30, Naomi unlocked the small Brooklyn cafe where she worked. She looked exhausted. She barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she remembered Kaisung shielding her from bullets. Maya, her roommate, noticed immediately. You look haunted. Naomi tied her apron. I met someone dangerous. Maya nearly dropped the coffee filters. Oh no, dangerous hot or dangerous criminal? Both. Absolutely not. Naomi laughed nervously. Exactly. The bell above the cafe door suddenly rang. Naomi looked up and forgot how to breathe. Kaisung entered wearing a black coat over his injured shoulder. 2 bodyguards waited outside. The entire cafe went silent. Even the espresso machine sounded nervous. Naomi stared at him. What are you doing here? Kaisung walked toward the counter slowly. You disappeared before I could thank you. For what? For saving that little girl. Naomi crossed her arms. You took a bullet. I've had worse mornings. She hated how calm he sounded. You shouldn't know where I work. You're right. Then why are you here? Kaisung studied her carefully. Because I couldn't stop thinking about you. The honesty in his voice caught her off guard. Naomi forced herself to focus. People died because of your world. His jaw tightened. No one died last night. Not last night. Silence filled the cafe. Kaisung understood instantly. Her brother. Gang violence. Trauma. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Naomi looked away before her emotions betrayed her. I don't date criminals. I'm trying not to be one. That answer lingered between them. Kaisung glanced at the menu. Coffee. You're already at a cafe. I was hoping you'd sit with me. You don't give up easily, do you? No. Maya appeared beside Naomi, whispering aggressively. Oh my God, that's actually him. Please stop talking. He's ridiculously handsome. Maya, he looks like heartbreak in a designer coat. Kaisung almost smiled hearing that. Naomi sighed heavily. 1 coffee, she muttered. 2 hours later, Naomi was somehow sitting across from him in a quiet diner several blocks away. What started as coffee became breakfast. Then conversation. Then hours disappearing like minutes. Kaisung surprised her. He spoke softly, listened carefully, remembered details. He asked about her acting dreams instead of talking about himself. Nobody ever did that. Naomi learned he taught taekwondo classes for underprivileged kids every weekend. He admitted he hated violence. He confessed his older brother Miho had once protected him from their father's brutality. Then Miho was murdered during a power struggle inside the syndicate. Did your father kill him? Naomi asked carefully. Kaisung looked out the window. I don't know. That answer frightened her more than anything. Over the next few weeks, they kept meeting. Secret lunches. Late-night drives through Manhattan. Walks across the Brooklyn Bridge after midnight. Kaisung showed her rooftops where the city looked peaceful. Naomi showed him tiny bookstores and cheap pizza places. For the first time in years, Kaisung laughed. Really laughed. His guards noticed. Eric noticed. Even his cold father noticed. And that became dangerous. One rainy evening, Naomi waited backstage at a small theater after finally landing a supporting acting role. She felt hopeful for the first time in months. Then the lights suddenly went out. Footsteps echoed. A voice spoke from the darkness. You should stay away from my son. Naomi froze. An older Korean man stepped forward. Expensive suit. Emotionless eyes. Kaisung's father. Mr. Lee. Fear crawled down Naomi's spine. You're talented, he said calmly. You watch my rehearsal? I investigate threats. I'm not a threat. To Kaisung, you are. Naomi tried to stay steady. He cares about you, Mr. Lee continued. That makes him weak. I never asked for this. But you enjoyed it. His voice remained terrifyingly calm. Then he placed a photograph on a chair. Naomi picked it up. It showed Maya walking home alone. Another showed Naomi's mother in California. Her blood turned cold. You're threatening my family. I'm protecting mine. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. You people destroy everything you touch. Mr. Lee stepped closer. My son believes you can change him. He is wrong. Then he delivered the final blow. Miho died because he fell in love with the wrong woman too. Naomi stared at him. What? Mr. Lee smiled faintly. The woman betrayed him. Our enemies murdered him afterward. Then he walked away, leaving Naomi shattered. That night, Kaisung arrived outside her apartment smiling for the first time all week. He carried takeout noodles and flowers. Naomi broke his heart before he could even speak. You need to leave. Kaisung frowned. What happened? I can't do this anymore. Naomi. I mean it. Rain poured around them. Kaisung stepped closer. Did someone threaten you? No. You're lying again. Her eyes filled with tears. I lost my brother to violence. I won't lose myself too. I would never hurt you. Maybe not intentionally. The pain in his expression nearly destroyed her. But Naomi forced herself to continue. You belong to a world filled with blood. I can't survive inside it. Kaisung's voice cracked slightly. So this is it. Naomi looked away because she couldn't bear his face. Yes. For several seconds, he said nothing. Then quietly, you're the only good thing that's happened to me in years. Naomi nearly ran into his arms. Instead, she whispered, Goodbye, Kai. He left without another word. And for the first time since inheriting the empire, Kaisung Lee looked truly broken. 3 nights later, someone tried to assassinate him. Kaisung was leaving an underground business meeting in Queens when a truck slammed into his convoy. Gunfire exploded instantly. His bodyguards returned fire. Chaos swallowed the street. Kaisung dragged Eric behind a car while bullets shattered windows around them. Your father set this up, Eric shouted. Kaisung already knew. Because one attacker wore the symbol of a rival syndicate his father secretly worked with. The realization hit him hard. Mr. Lee wasn't protecting the empire. He was eliminating Kaisung. That same night, Kaisung confronted his father inside the family penthouse. The old man calmly poured tea while armed guards watched nearby. You sent men to kill me. Mr. Lee sipped his tea. You became weak. I became human. A leader cannot afford humanity. Kaisung's anger exploded. Did you kill Miho? Silence. Then Mr. Lee smiled coldly. Your brother wanted to abandon the family. Just like you. Kaisung stopped breathing. That was answer enough. Rage consumed him. But before violence erupted, Mr. Lee suddenly collapsed. A heart attack. Guards panicked. Doctors rushed in. And within hours, the entire empire belonged to Kaisung. Every criminal network. Every business. Every enemy. Every secret. Kaisung stood alone in his penthouse overlooking Manhattan. Naomi was gone. His brother was dead. And now he finally understood the horrifying truth. His father had destroyed everyone Kaisung ever loved. So Kaisung made a decision that shocked the entire underworld. He began burning the empire down from the inside. Illegal operations vanished. Money laundering businesses became legitimate corporations. Corrupt officials lost funding. Human trafficking rings connected to the syndicate disappeared overnight. Some enemies called him weak. Others called him insane. Then people started dying. Not innocent people. The monsters. Predators. Men who profited from suffering. Rumors spread through New York. Kaisung Lee had become something far more dangerous than a mafia heir. He had become a man with nothing left to lose. And Naomi had no idea the worst twist was still coming. 6 months later, Naomi Clark stood outside a taekwondo center in Brooklyn holding an envelope with trembling hands. Children laughed inside the building. Bright murals covered the walls. The sign above the entrance read, Lee Foundation Youth Center. Naomi stared at it in disbelief. Every newspaper in New York talked about Kaisung's transformation. Crime rates connected to his syndicate mysteriously dropped. Scholarships appeared in poor neighborhoods. Youth centers opened across Brooklyn and Queens. People called him a miracle. Others called it a publicity stunt. Naomi didn't know what to believe. But she couldn't ignore the envelope. 3 nights ago, someone slipped it beneath her apartment door. Inside was a photograph. Her dead brother. Alive. Naomi thought it was fake. Cruel. Impossible. Until she noticed the date printed in the corner. Last month. Now her hands shook uncontrollably. She stepped inside the center. Children practiced taekwondo while instructors encouraged them. The atmosphere felt warm. Safe. Completely different from the violent world Kaisung came from. Then she saw him. Kaisung stood barefoot on the training mats, teaching a nervous little boy how to balance properly. He looked different. Softer somehow. Still powerful. Still intimidating. But lighter. The moment he noticed Naomi, his entire body froze. The room disappeared around them. Naomi's chest tightened painfully. Because despite everything, she still loved him. Kaisung slowly walked toward her. You came back. His voice sounded careful, like hope terrified him. Naomi held up the photograph. Who sent this? The color drained from Kaisung's face. Where did you get that? So it's real. Kaisung immediately guided her toward his office away from the children. Once the door closed, Naomi demanded answers. My brother is dead. That's what you were supposed to believe. Her world tilted. What? Kaisung rubbed his jaw painfully. Your brother Daniel survived the shooting 6 years ago. Naomi stared at him in horror. No. He disappeared because the gang that targeted him worked for my father. Naomi stepped backward. You knew? I found out recently. Recently? Kaisung's voice turned rough. When I took control of the empire, I discovered hidden files. Your brother witnessed illegal deals involving politicians, police, and my father. Naomi's breathing became uneven. So my brother has been alive this entire time? He was hidden for protection. Protection from who? Kaisung looked directly at her. From my family. Naomi felt sick. You lied to me. I was trying to find him safely before telling you. Where is he? Kaisung hesitated. That hesitation terrified her. Where is my brother? He disappeared again 2 weeks ago. Naomi exploded. You expect me to trust you after this? I'm trying to help you. You destroyed my life. Her voice cracked with grief. All these years I buried him. I mourned him. I hated myself for surviving when he didn't. Kaisung absorbed every word silently. Then he confessed the final truth. My father ordered the attack on your brother because Daniel stole evidence exposing corruption inside our organization. Naomi stared at him like he was a stranger. The same night we met at the gala, your father already knew who I was. Kaisung nodded slowly. He targeted you long before I fell in love with you. The room became suffocating. Naomi suddenly understood everything. The gala wasn't coincidence. She had unknowingly entered the orbit of the family responsible for ruining her life. Tears streamed down her face. Kaisung stepped closer carefully. I would change all of it if I could. Naomi laughed bitterly. You can't. No. Silence filled the office. Then someone started clapping slowly outside the door. Kaisung's expression darkened instantly. The office door opened. Eric entered holding a gun. Naomi froze. Kai. Eric said calmly. We have a problem. Behind him stood 3 armed men. Kaisung's eyes narrowed. Explain. Eric sighed heavily. Your father left debts behind. The Bratva wants payment. And they kidnapped Daniel Clark. Naomi nearly collapsed. They contacted me an hour ago. Eric continued. They'll trade Daniel for the empire accounts your father hid. Kaisung immediately understood. It's a trap. Obviously. Naomi grabbed Kaisung's arm desperately. You have to save him. Kaisung looked down at her hand on his arm. For the first time in months, she touched him willingly. I will, he promised. That night, rain poured across an abandoned shipping yard in Queens. The Bratva waited inside rusted warehouses surrounded by armed guards. Naomi sat in a car nearby trembling with fear while Kaisung loaded a pistol calmly. You're not coming inside, he told her. My brother is in there. So are 30 armed men. I'm not leaving again. Kaisung looked at her for several seconds. Then quietly, I never stopped loving you. Naomi's eyes filled instantly. Before she could respond, Kaisung stepped into the storm. Gunfire erupted minutes later. Naomi screamed. Chaos exploded across the shipping yard. Kaisung moved through darkness like a man possessed. Every lesson from his violent childhood returned. But this time, he fought for something good. Not power. Not fear. Love. Inside the warehouse, Daniel Clark sat tied to a chair, bruised but alive. When Kaisung reached him, Daniel stared in shock. You're the Mafia prince my sister fell for? Kaisung cut the ropes quickly. We can discuss it later. Suddenly Eric's voice shouted through an earpiece. Kai, get out now. Too late. An explosion ripped through the warehouse. Fire consumed everything. Naomi ran toward the flames, screaming Kaisung's name. People held her back. The building collapsed. And for one horrifying moment, Naomi thought she lost him forever. Then Kaisung emerged from the smoke, carrying Daniel over his shoulder. Bleeding. Burned. Alive. Naomi burst into tears and threw herself into Kaisung's arms. He held her tightly despite the pain. I thought you died, she whispered. Kaisung rested his forehead against hers. I told you before, he said weakly. You're the only real thing I've seen in years. Naomi kissed him before fear could stop her. Rain poured around them. Sirens echoed nearby. And for the first time, neither of them ran away. 1 year later, sunlight flooded the Brooklyn Community Center where children scattered flower petals across the floor laughing loudly. Naomi stood near the entrance wearing a simple white dress. No luxury ballroom. No billionaire guests. No criminal deals. Just family. Friends. Hope. Daniel walked her down the aisle alive and smiling. Maya cried dramatically in the front row. Eric pretended not to cry at all. And at the end of the aisle stood Kaisung. Not as a Mafia heir. Not as a feared syndicate leader. Just a man who fought through darkness for another chance at love. The scar above his eyebrow remained. So did the pain in his past. But his eyes looked peaceful now. When Naomi finally reached him, Kaisung whispered softly. No secrets this time. Naomi smiled through tears. No more running either. The children cheered as they kissed. Outside, New York continued roaring with noise, ambition, and violence. But inside the small community center in Brooklyn, two broken people proved something nobody expected. Even in a world built on fear and blood, love could still rewrite destiny. And somewhere beyond the music and laughter, Kaisung silently thanked the moment a tired waitress smiled at a janitor beneath crystal chandeliers. Because that single genuine smile had saved his soul. Thanks for watching, Bestows. We'll see you on the next one.